Over the past decade, a quiet yet deeply transformative shift has been taking place across the United States, one that many Americans are only beginning to notice. In cities, suburbs, and even small rural towns, Islam is gaining attention among people who were not raised in the Muslim faith. Mosques that once catered mainly to immigrant families are now welcoming a growing number of native-born Americans who come with questions, curiosity, and an openness to learn. Friday prayers are increasingly attended by new faces, some of whom only recently encountered Islam through a friend, a coworker, or an online discussion. This change is not driven by mass campaigns or organized movements, but by individual spiritual journeys that are unfolding quietly across the country. Many of these one of the most frequently cited reasons Americans are turning toward Islam is a growing sense of dissatisfaction with modern life and its values. Many people describe feeling trapped in a cycle of materialism, constant competition, and emotional emptiness, despite economic comfort. Islam's clear moral framework, which emphasizes purpose, accountability, and balance between worldly life and spirituality, appeals to those searching for deeper meaning. The idea that life itself is a test, guided by divine wisdom rather than social trends, resonates strongly with individuals who feel lost in an age of rapid change and uncertainty. Personal relationships also play a powerful role in this transformation. A significant number of converts say their first real exposure to Islam came through Muslim friends, classmates, colleagues, or spouses. Observing daily prayers, fasting during Ramadan, and strong family values often sparks curiosity. Many are impressed by the discipline and consistency Muslims maintain in their worship, even while navigating demanding modern lifestyles. This lived example of faith often leaves a stronger impression than books or debates, gradually breaking down preconceived notions shaped by media portrayals. Another major influence is the increasing visibility of conversion stories in the digital world. Social media platforms are filled with Americans openly documenting their journeys to Islam, explaining what drew them to the faith and how their lives changed afterward. These stories often emphasize simplicity, inner peace, and clarity of belief. Concepts such as strict monotheism, the rejection of intermediaries between God and humans, and the emphasis on direct repentance appeal to many who struggled with theological confusion in other belief systems. For former atheists in particular, Islam's rational approach to faith, combining belief with daily practice, offers a compelling alternative. Islam's focus on social justice and community responsibility is another strong attraction. Teachings about charity, care for the poor, racial equality, and accountability before God align with the moral concerns of many Americans, especially younger generations. The idea that all believers are equal regardless of race or background has a deep historical resonance in a country still grappling with inequality. For many converts, Islam is not just a religion but a complete way of life that provides spiritual guidance, ethical structure, and a sense of belonging that they struggled to find elsewhere. As the number of Americans embracing Islam becomes more visible, public reaction has grown increasingly intense and divided. For some, this trend represents the very essence of American freedom, the right to choose one's faith without fear or restriction. Interfaith groups, academics, and civil rights organizations emphasize that religious change has always been part of the nation's history, from waves of Catholic and Jewish immigrants to the rise of non-religious identities. They argue that conversions to Islam fit naturally within this broader pattern and should not be viewed as a threat, but as a reflection of a diverse and evolving society. On the other hand, fear and misunderstanding have also surfaced, often fueled by sensational media coverage and political rhetoric. Certain television segments, online commentators, and social media posts frame the growth of Islam as an alarming development, using emotionally charged language and exaggerated predictions. Headlines suggesting that America could become a Muslim country spark anxiety among some audiences, even though experts consistently explain that such claims are not grounded in demographic or political reality. These narratives, while attention-grabbing, tend to blur the line between religious growth and political power, creating confusion rather than informed discussion. Political debates have further intensified the conversation. Some politicians link the rise of Islam to issues such as immigration, national security, or cultural identity, despite the fact that many new Muslims are American-born citizens. This has led to heated public arguments, protests, and counter-protests, particularly during election seasons. At the same time, Muslim communities report both increased scrutiny and increased solidarity, as allies from other faiths speak out against Islamophobia and discrimination. The tension has pushed Islam into the center of national debate in ways rarely seen before. Amid the noise, scholars and historians urge a calmer perspective. They point out that Islam has been present in America since its earliest days, including among enslaved Africans and later immigrant communities. Today's conversions, they argue, are part of a long and complex story rather than a sudden rupture. While media reactions range from supportive to alarmist, the reality on the ground is more nuanced. What is unfolding is not a takeover, but a deeper conversation about identity, belief, and how a pluralistic society adapts to visible religious change. As the United States moves further into the 21st century, the role of religion in public and private life is undergoing a profound transformation. Islam's continued growth is widely seen by sociologists as part of a broader pattern in which Americans are no longer simply inheriting faith from their families, but actively choosing it after deep personal reflection. While sensational claims suggest dramatic political or cultural takeovers, experts emphasize that the reality is far more measured. America's legal and constitutional framework makes the establishment of any state religion impossible, yet it fully protects the right of individuals to embrace Islam and practice it openly. This balance is likely to define the country's religious future. At the community level, Muslim Americans are expected to become even more integrated and influential in everyday civic life. Increasing numbers of Muslims are working as doctors, teachers, entrepreneurs, journalists, and public servants, contributing directly to the nation's development. Their visibility challenges outdated stereotypes and presents Islam through lived experience rather than distant headlines. For new converts, this integration helps bridge the gap between faith and nationality, reinforcing the idea that being Muslim and being American are not opposing identities, but can coexist naturally and confidently. Education and exposure will also play a decisive role in shaping attitudes. Universities, schools, and media platforms are gradually offering more nuanced discussions about Islam, its beliefs, and its historical presence in America. As accurate information replaces fear-based narratives, public reactions are expected to become less extreme. Younger generations, in particular, tend to view religious diversity as normal rather than threatening. This shift suggests that future debates around Islam will focus less on panic and more on understanding, coexistence, and mutual respect. In the long term, Islam's place in America will likely mirror that of other major faiths that were once viewed with suspicion but later became accepted parts of society. The growing number of converts, combined with established Muslim communities, points toward a future where Islam is neither shocking nor controversial, but simply one of many paths Americans choose in their search for meaning. Rather than signaling the end of American identity, this evolution reflects its enduring capacity to adapt, absorb diversity, and redefine itself without losing its foundational principles.